Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening. We'll give few more minutes for others to join the session, and we'll start in few minutes shortly. We'll give a couple of minutes more for others, and we'll start in 8:32, 2 minutes from now. Okay. We have few members joining. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Okay, I've given the mic access on, so feel free to unmute or type in our chat in case of any questions or any help or any queries during the session.
Good morning. So,
Hey, hi Sudarshan.
5 minutes.
Hey, nice. Okay, welcome everyone for the Oracle SQL and PLSQL session. This is for batch 379. Okay, and okay, before we, I think we'll take other couple of minutes for others also to join. Meanwhile, you guys can feel free to unmute yourself, and if you can share a couple of points about you, maybe if you, small, a brief intro, like where are you based out of, and like what is your primary goal of this course, and what is your current or prior experience in terms of any database or any coding whatsoever. Anyone wants to take a lead and start with? Okay, okay, good. No worries. Okay, I see a message. It's Ayo. Ayo, please mm, let me know if I pronounce it correctly or any correction in it. It's Ayo, right? Okay, thank you. And based out of Texas, Houston, and no prior experience, that's fine. No worries. Okay. Anyone else wants to go ahead? Feel free to unmute, or you can use the chat window.
Sir,
Completely
I have one
fine.
query, sir.
Sure, Sachin, please go
Sir,
ahead.
regarding good evening, sir. Sir, I am a application support engineer. I
Mhm.
want to switch a job in application support. Regarding the Oracle. Can you
Okay,
help me? Yeah, what is the next job?
sure. I will go through the content what we are going to cover,
Mm-hmm.
and I will cover about some of the key differences, typical roles with application developer, database developer, and database admin as well,
Okay.
generally which we get it. And okay, that should give you a better clarity in terms of it, and then might help you to take a decision of how you want to plan for it. Okay, cool. Anyone else want to uh, uh, please feel to unmute and use the chat window. Okay, cool. Yeah, feel free. Part of the session, no worries. Just use the chat window or unmute, and happy to discuss and happy to clarify all the questions, whatsoever doubts you have. And this session is for Oracle SQL and PLSQL developer, and the batch 379. Myself, Venkata, and I have about 16 years of experience in overall IT development, maintenance, and operations, and multiple stages and multiple um, what do you call multi-region projects as well, and been like done a lot of development, design, modeling, and architecture, data management, and data engineering related activities across different platforms. And Oracle is one of the platform which I work on. And part of this session, I will be your trainer, and I'll be helping you out to go through some of the key concepts of Oracle development and some of the key areas as a developer which you eventually need to work it on, and some of the key topics of performance tuning or database administration, multiple different facets of it. And yeah, for any communication with the team uh, towards the course or any help you require it, please do mention this is batch 379 for Oracle SQL and PL SQL. So mention that any communication to the support team whatsoever, if you have any queries, concerns, or doubts, so it will be easy for them to make sure those are addressed and clarified effectively. And this session is an hour session from 8:30 p.m. IST, and this is a 30-day course and starts on 2nd of December. So the first three sessions will be demo sessions and introduction sessions, and from the third onwards, we will start with the hands-on activity, starting with the database instance creation, connecting to instance, understanding the data models, how to create it and how to manage it, and understanding about writing some SQL queries, a lot of different concepts. So we're going to cover the hands-on activity from day 4, and the first three sessions will be primarily on introduction or theoretical sessions covering about different concepts, different areas, making sure the ground and foundation is clear, and so that you can take a decision when you can get the confidence of continuing the course. And we will start with the instance creation, getting your own instance so that you don't need to depend on anyone else part of the session. I'll help you all those steps, whatever are required. And again, this is an hour session from 8:30 p.m. IST to 9:30 p.m. IST. And any questions you have, any doubts, any clarifications, please feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat window. Or in case you have any trouble with these two, you still have any question and some dilemma, any confusion for confirming your registration or going forward with the registration, feel free to talk with the support team over the contact details which are shared, or to the email support@logiclabstech.com. And as I mentioned, the first three sessions will be free for everyone, and feel free to join the session. Happy to discuss, clarify the doubts so that you gain the confidence. From the day 4 onwards will be the registered link, the link which is shared with only with the registered participants. And the first two sessions demo or the recordings will be available on the YouTube channel. Same will be communicated over the WhatsApp channel as well. And you can go through those recordings. And from day 3 will be a uh, paid recording session will be shared with the registered participants. And once you join the batch, we don't have the flexibility of shifting the batch like different batches or the amount refund sort of thing. And so feel free to clarify, gain the confidence, and make yourself comfortable and take it forward with the session. And all the recordings, it's not that only the first 2 day recordings. First 2 day recordings will be free to access to anyone. And from day 3 recording onwards will be available to the paid members. You would have access to the LMS portal once you complete the registration, and you can access all the day recordings on the LMS portal. Not just the daily recordings, you would have the daily notes, whatever we are using during this session. I would share those notes and you can access that over the LMS portal. Along with it, I would share some of the self-read documents as well, so that obviously any technology or any concept, it, specifically with Oracle, there's a very huge topic. There could be one or two topics which we might not be able to cover in these 30 days. And it's not that those are not present, those are not taught. Few simple topics, I'll keep it as self-read. I'll give an overview of those concepts and I'll cover the hands-on topics of those. So different variations, different permutations which are present, so that you can go through those self-recording or self-read documents which are provided by Oracle, so that you can go through different variation, different concepts as well. And the support team will be available from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST, Monday to Saturday, or you can drop an email at support@logiclabstech.com so that they can check, help you, and respond to you during the work hours once, uh, in case any problem or any trouble. Okay, I believe general ground in terms of the course, in terms of the what do you call, the batch timings, and in terms of registration process, in terms of recordings, all those points we discussed. I hope those are clear for you. In case you have any question, any doubt, feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself or use a chat window. Happy to clarify that. And I'm sharing you the website once again over the chat. So this would be available for you. You can access from your browser, and you can open the WhatsApp community link. You can register or join the community link. You can join the chat. So any communication regarding this session, any change, was unforeseen circumstances, if a particular day session is not able to happen, team will keep the members updated over this WhatsApp channel for you so that you don't miss out any communication. And every day prior to the day, the recap of the session, a small audio message will be shared over the channel as well, so that you are aware of what topic you're going to discuss on that day. So it's not that only the audio message. Prior session, I'll give a note of what topic you're going to cover on that week, on every day. Same thing, and the next day topics we are going to cover during the session as well would be available over the WhatsApp audio as message as well. So that in all formats you have communication, so that it's crystal clear in terms of what we are going to discuss on everyday basis as well. You can join the WhatsApp community link. So keep yourself communicated, keep yourself informed about everything, whatever is happening around the session. And everyday recording, whatever is posted on YouTube channel, will be shared over the WhatsApp community link as well. And you have all the details with the demo link which was shared with you over the WhatsApp in case you are already present, or the or mail communication or any other format of communication. You can see the same link over the demo as well. And once you gain the confidence, once you feel comfortable to start with the session, you can go through the payment link to proceed with the payment and register for the session. And the course content, I'll show you the course content as well. Okay, I see a message from Ruby. I don't see the course for this class in the URL shared. Okay, so this is the URL which I'm opening right now, and under upcoming batches. Oh, that's a nice check, Ruby. This is 8:30 p.m. I'll ask the team to correct it. Thanks for noting it down. I'll ask the team to correct it. And the course content as well, you can see the PDF copy of it. We would be covering about the basics of database in general and database management systems, and covering about database management systems is a very generic topic. So in general, we'll cover about what are the basic principles of any database management systems, and then we'll subset of it, the focused area for us, will be covering about RDBMS, like in with respect to RDBMS, how these principles or methodologies works out. And from RDBMS, we will focus, zoom in to Oracle specific, because RDBMS there are multiple vendors, multiple products available in the market. So we will focus into Oracle and we'll zoom in how Oracle works as an RDBMS and what are the different processes which are involved, what are the different methodologies which are involved with specific to Oracle. We will learn about the SQLs, how data modeling is done with Oracle, what are different SQL objects we have it, data types we have it, how we are going to convert a realistic entity or a realistic a concept what we see in real world into virtually into an database object to store the information. So part of data modeling we would to cover it, and we will create those tables whatever we are going to cover. We're going to insert data, we're going to write some queries, basic queries, and then few complex queries with aggregate functions, groupings, having different out of box functionalities or functions available within Oracle. And then we'll cover converting these queries into views and materialized views. We're going to discuss how a view works, how a materialized view works, differences between these two, when to use a view, when to use a materialized view, why we need to convert a query into these views and materialized views, and how encapsulation works out in this concept. And then we work on different other database objects as well, and then we understand about some of those automated numbering sequences, etc. And we are going to cover about encapsulation of this business logic which is present in query to a view or a materialized view. Similarly, we'll add the programming flair on top of sequels, right? So multiple statements which are executing, we'll try to club it together in the form of PLSQL as a programmed SQL, what we call as. And then we discuss about different flavors of PLSQL within Oracle, when to use what, when to use a function, when to use a procedure, when to use a package, what is the logical difference between these two, both a logical as well as syntactical differences between these two as well. And then we'll discuss how to convert these concepts, SQLs, PL whatever we learned, into a backend APIs, right? The database, what we call. When I talk about APIs, it's not the web APIs, okay? It's the backend APIs, right? So we would discuss about all those concepts with it and some of the new concepts or new features available with Oracle and some of the DBA concepts, how it's not about DBA. We're not going to cover full in detail of all the activities of DBA, but we will cover about some of the key concepts of DBA, which as a developer you need to be aware of. So good to be uh, 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 it's good to be aware and good to uh, uh, be self-sufficient and understanding or good level of understanding in those concepts. Okay, and I have a question, Ruby. Out of curiosity, will you be able to cover the entire course content in 30 days? Yes, we will, and we would be able to. And as I mentioned, this 1 hour session, whatever we are going to discuss, I'm going to explain the key concepts, understanding the key concepts, and how to utilize the concept in creating those objects and writing the code, everything. Some of the nuts and bolts around it I'll give you as a self-read document, so that 1 hour session, and try to spend an hour or two during your free time, so you will have or you will gain the confidence. So once you gain the confidence, so it's very easy learning the Oracle SQL and PL SQL. Okay. And these concepts, whatever we are learned, which we are covering, is we would happily be able to cover it. And only thing, only one ask from my side. Okay. Please spend at least an hour or two daily to practice the concepts whatever we have learned. And every week on every Friday session, I will give a small hands-on or an assignment sort of activity as well. And try to spend your Saturday and Sunday couple of hours, right? It's not just I attended the session, completed it. Try to spend couple of hours during your weekend, during your free time, whenever it's possible. Morning, evening, or afternoon, whenever it's possible. Try to do the assignments. Eventually, you will gain the confidence. So that is the essence of any training session. Uh, it's easy to join 30 hours. It's 30 hours if I convert into a day, it's not even 1.5 day, hardly hardly a day, right? So it's difficult to just listen through the concepts and digest it and keep your hands flowing. Whenever you see a requirement, your hand should flow freely. You should gain the confidence. So I'll help you out covering how to understand the use case, how to write simple queries, simple PLSQL components, everything. I'll help you to understand these nuts and bolts of this requirement. So to gain the confidence, you need to practice, spend some time every day. So that is the main ask from my side for this course. Okay. So I'll pause in a minute here. It's a lot what we discussed. I understand it's, and my intention is to give you the right information, whatever you're going to cover in the next 30 days, so that you have a better clarity and you feel confident of taking it forward. Okay, can we get the certificate? You will have a course completion certificate sort of thing, which is shared by Logic Labs team Sudarshan. And I haven't seen like how the certificate looks like, to be frank, but feel free to reach out to the support team. They might give you a what you call a soft copy or a reference document how it looks like. But to your question, yes, you would have a completion certificate. Okay. Any questions, any doubts, any dilemma whatsoever you have in your mind, please feel free to put it down, and happy to clarify that. Make sure you are comfortable with it. So everyone has the mic access. Okay. Any questions, any doubts, any clarifications? Okay, sure. Thank you, Darshan. Okay, cool. So if no other questions or doubts, probably we'll start with some of those basic uh, uh, curriculum, right? So if I logically segregate the course content, whatever the course which I have shown you, will be okay. So I'm not going to cover about Linux out here. Sorry for this. Oh, okay. I'm not going to. Okay, I think I took. Oops, sorry. I think I took a different presentation document here. Sorry for that. So the course content, what we are going to cover for the developer course here will be on database management systems, RDBMS, different objects, built-in functions, data modeling, different constraints within the data model. One, a physical, at the table level constraints using the table level constraints and foreign key constraints exam like it. And you can use a programmed constraints using in form of and triggers and custom exceptions, etc. And we're going to cover about the indexes and clusters, how the indexes will be helpful for you, and how to create a cluster of indexes as well. So, and in terms of the PLSQLs with functions, procedures, and the packages. Okay, so this would be the course content. Not the the Elliott course content. That was a slide. I think I used it for DPA course. Okay. And in general, like this is one of the common question which I get in most of the sessions. So thought of um, m- making sure that you are clear with the difference here, because some people try to what you call uh, cover or overlap between different concepts. So I'll pause in here for a minute. Please have a glance through um, in terms of database developer or an application developer or an database administrator. So some of the key concepts I try to put it down, which as a self explainable terms. Please have a glance through. I'll pause in a minute here. Sachin, I believe this should help you out. The question what you had. You have any other question or doubt or any dilemma?
Sir, I have one query, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, regarding you send a PPT, in that application support it is not including, sir.
I'm sorry.
Sir, I'm working with application support, so I want
Uh,
some information regarding application support, sir.
yes. So when it comes to the any software development, right? There are three different primary phases or three different uh, primary functions which are involved. One, as the development team or the product team. Second, the support team, and the third would be operations team. So those are the three primary legs or three primary entities which are involved in any IT team in general to most of the organizations. So application support will be primarily based out of any support activities or with customer request or depending on what type of support you have, right? Be it an L1 support or L2 support, depending on the type of support you do. You primarily give you either in form of an what you call a playbook or what you call a help document or a help reference sort of thing, which would help the end user because you are the frontliner for the end user. So you would help the end user to overcome the problem. Either the overcome of the problem for end user, either it might be typically a user is unaware of how to do, or second, any knowledge gap for the user, he might require the support, etc. The other could be the actual issue, maybe within the system. So that's where the support team predominantly helps the first two factors. The third factor, the overlap of the operations team and the support team would come in picture for you. Depending on the level of issue, eventually the third factor might come in picture from the product team or the development team for you. And from the application support, again, it might be a technical support or a general user support as well. So if it is in technical support, you typically might help your protocol, any common user issue which I mentioned. Right? So once the main advantage of the application support is you would have a very good domain knowledge, right? How the application should work, how the user is using it, how they should actually use, what are the key factors to make the application work much better, to simplify the user as well. So the domain knowledge would be far better with an application support. So gaining some of the technical knowledge and as an add-on to it will definitely help you out to convert yourself as an application developer. So if it is only a database you want to do it, then only the backend for database developer. If you want to keep it in general as an application, not just as a developer, then you would be inclined more toward the application developer. So the difference again, support would be comparatively a very top level in the surface, right? Top level in the surface, you would have the breadth of the application, whereas developer will have depth of the surface. It's not just the surface, he has a depth of it. Depth, but he is most focused on a particular area of it. So that would be the difference between it. So you might want to shift to it, that yes, that will be helpful for you. Yeah, and having both depth as well as breadth of the overall application will eventually help you out in long term. So whether you want to look after the whole thing at a top surface level, you can continue as in support person. If you want to go deep and gain the depth of the application, then you can convert into development side. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thanks for.
No worries, thank you. And I have a other question. Okay, first doubt clarified. Okay, cool. Second question, is this course specifically for developers? Is this helpful for business analysts as well? Okay, so business analyst, right? What would typically a business analyst do? For any product development? There are different phases who are involved in it, different levels of work would be involved. Similar to an application support, who would be having a surface knowledge and the overall application side. As a business analyst, right, you would understand, may not be the complete surface of it, but only maybe the domain which you work on. You would have the surface knowledge and all the interlinks between different business applications as well. So you would understand, you would need to have more control and concept of the data. You may not need to worry about how data is manipulated, what logic is used internally to it, but you need to have a very clear understanding about what data, what system, how it is getting modified, especially for business analyst. That's where this will help you to drill down and convert yourself. Once you have this breadth, right, this will help you to envision what are the other market trends or features, maybe some features which are available in my product or which are not available in my product. My competitive product might be having it. Maybe a different team might be having it. You would need to envision that side, and if you add that envision, right, the idea whatever you have, how you can leverage the idea. You may not need to copy it. You need to leverage the idea, how the concept can be implemented in our product as well to make our product as a better competitor in the market. So adding these ideas with the experience of BA plus having the envision, add these ideas to the product, make it better. This will help you out converting from a BA to a product management. Once you are converted to product manager, the next would be product owner, where each step, right? So focusing on one application, maybe two application, maybe three application. Overall domain, you will have the complete understanding. So that is what generally from a BA, product manager, product owner does these activities. Making sure that your method, principle of a domain or the application is intact with the market or with the government rules and regulations. At the same time, within the scope of technical limitations whatsoever of the organization, right? So that's where the business analyst, he is going to be, in simple terms, he is going to be the storyteller for you, right? So he needs to convert this into a proper story so that your product can go into the market. Okay, I hope it answers your question. Okay, cool. Okay. Any other questions, doubts, clarifications? Feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat window. Happy to help you out. Okay, no worries. Okay, yeah, I think so. We're talking about databases, right? So we have people who are fresh or does not have prior experience. Maybe others might have bit of understanding of applications, etc., etc. Right? Can anyone take a lead? Try to share like what is a database in your terminology, in your understanding. Whatever you understand, right? That's okay. What do you think is database in your own terminology? Okay. Anyone want to give a try? Okay, cool. No worries. So in simple, a database. Okay, I have an answer now. It's raw store database which stores long file. Yes, that is also correct. It's a collection of data. Yes, that is also correct. Both are the right answers. And in simple terms, right? A database is nothing but anything which stores some data. If I take a piece of paper, I can consider that paper is also as a database. I can write any information on it. I can pass the information from one place to other place. Even a piece of paper is a database. I can access information, whatever I have written it, I can access it. I can strike it off. I can write some more data. I can organize the data, maybe in bullet points, maybe number formats, whatever. I can organize it. I can store the piece of paper anywhere in the home, maybe rack or a shelf. I can take it back and retrieve the data, whatever's it. I can read the data back. So anything. It's not just a machine. Anything which stores the data, be it small, be it large. Volume doesn't matter. In simple terms, a database, a place where you store the data, organize your data so that you can quickly access, manage, modify, update, and retrieve the data as and when needed. So when I talk about small things, maybe a newspaper will, maybe a piece of paper or a book or a file, maybe a simple notepad is also fine. When I talk about a huge enterprise, eventually it handles large amount of data. So I cannot handle multiple files. So eventually it becomes difficult for me to identify where that file is present, how it is stored and all. So more and more the data comes up, eventually it becomes difficult for me to quickly access the data, right? So that's where different advancements, different layers of these databases comes in picture for us. So in a very basic terminology, it is anything, any place where you store the information. Even I mean, talk about simple layman terms, even a piece of stone where typically people used to write something on a stone. When that piece called as database in simple terms. But obviously the level of right, it each has its own pros and cons, right? You can it used to be difficult to modify or update information. So obviously it has its own limitations. So each and every layer advancement, whatever we have done, we are trying to solve one or the other bottlenecks of each of these steps. How to access, how to manage, how to modify, how to organize, how to retrieve it. So each and every advancement in technology which is happening around the databases is on these factors to make it more and more simple, sophisticated, and easy. And why does these organizations require the database, right? So it's collection of data. Why would I need to collect the data? If there is no use of the data, no one collects it. No one even takes the data if there is no use of it. Very simple, basic, fundamental concept in any application, any system. If it is not used, no one asks you to the data at all. So if someone is collecting some data, which means it is used. And when it is used in enterprises, which means it is for business purposes. They need to make money out of it. They need to make some decisions out of it. They need to drive new factors out of the business, identify different patterns of the business. So it's eventually improves the business for you, adds more value, adds more features, functionalities to the business. And what does this do? Moment you add value to the business, they keep a track of it. Right? Be it your personal data, be it your general data like your geosensing data, whatsoever, right? It eventually helps you to keep a track of it. what is the customer spending out, how much is he spending month by month, year by year, quarter by quarter. Accordingly, I'll try to bring in more business partnerships, so that I drive more business to the customer as well. And the, these systems, whatever we build, this has to be safe and secured as well, right? So that's where once the trust is built, I store the personal information to it, be it health information or be it personal information. So if you remember 10, probably 10 years back, people used to find difficult or think about the complexity, think about the lack of trust to use a credit card information over the e-commerce websites. People do have a credit card, but they were not comfortable using it. Even if it is a point of sale, people find it difficult at that point as well, right? So they use normal cash, which they feel comfortable. Later on, once the trust has been built, different layers of the trust, different layers of securities was built. Slowly, people gain the trust, right, of using it. Be it online e-commerce, be it point of sale. Now, if someone raises a complaint with the bank of an unauthorized transactions, if bank doesn't help you out, doesn't solve the problem, then people lose the trust, right? They don't use those credit cards again. So that's where these factors comes in picture for you. So you store personal information, even though it's stored to the application, you feel comfortable. Let's say if you open Amazon, it does when you go to checkout page, right? The billing page, it provides you the previous address information, right? It's a personal data. It consists your email address, it consists your mobile number, the location where you stay, right? And what credit card are you using or what bank account are you using. It's all personal data, right? You feel comfortable, right? That's how the trust has been gained. So eventually people don't, maybe don't feel shy, don't feel sad of storing this information for you. And all these databases, right, whatever we were discussing, have gone through multiple advancements. Started with simple text files or CSV files or Excel sort of files, later converted into relational databases, later again converted into NoSQL sort of databases. Once object-oriented programming gained more traction out in it, right, to handling database to object-oriented systems application used to take a lot of processing power. Now object-oriented databases came in picture for you. Eventually, this drill down to cloud databases with distributed databases and hierarchical databases again. Each and every problem has one or the other enhancement or advancements in terms of these systems for you. So it's not that I should not use single file based thing. No, you can use it. People do use it even today. CSV file based or Excel file based. Many organizations even do use it. Right? But each has the level of what you call flexibility which people want it. Accordingly, they use different formats of it. And I think the same example which I was referring to, right? Types of databases. In simple terms, if I talk about SQL bases with non-SQL database, which are commonly used. It's not that distributed or what you call object-oriented single file was not mentioned here. Is that those are the various vast types of databases. Out of this, occurring some of two different databases which covers most of the market share right now. right? NoSQL sort of databases and SQL sort of databases. And each has different flavors of it, different use cases, different data patterns, how you want it. Eventually, those were enhanced to those specific use cases, specific requirements. Eventually, those are being came in picture for you. So I'll pause in a minute here. Feel free to go through the content. I try to keep it more of a self readable content. I'll pause in a minute here. Let me know any questions, any doubts, or any clarifications. Okay. Any questions, any doubts, any clarifications, any concept which is mentioned out here is not clear or you need more details. Sachin, I see your hand raised. You have any question?
No, sir, still I have no questions.
Oh, yes.
Sir, apart from me, I have only one in the batch.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sir, I'm saying that apart from me, anyone in another lights?
No, no. I see only you at the moment.
Okay.
No, I'll lower your hand. Yes, I lowered you. Okay, cool. And so same thing. Time series based databases or NoSQL and relational database. And what are the key factors? Uh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the question from Ruby. Oh, okay, Sachin. Is he the only student in the class? No, Sachin. I think we have about 10 people in this session. So I asked you because your hand was raised. You were okay.
Because you
No,
are.
okay, cool. So it's not just about one database, different concepts, right? So um, any machine or any system we talk about eventually requires a hardware for you, right? So it requires a CPU, it requires a memory, it requires some processing power, everything. So the hardware is what provides the physical device where the software runs for you, right? All the networks, all the machines, whatever required for it. And this application, whatever we have defined, it requires set of programmed logics, right? Some sort of software, some sort of mechanism to keep it running as expected. And that's what, from the database terminology, we call it as database management system or the software side of the database. And data is again, software is just a program, nothing else. It requires the fuel, it requires some sort of feed so that it works out. So that's all what we get in form of data, the raw data to it. And you need a language by which you can interact with the database. Right? So anything, whatever we see, right, maybe the GUI or the user interfaces, there are two different modes, right? One, a command line mode or a GUI based kind of mode for interaction. Similarly, for database, to this database management system, it has this data access language, what we call as. So with respect to SQL or this RDBMS sort of databases, what we call as SQL or SQL query language, and we have other concept what we call as PLSQL as well, sub part of the database. So that's the language what we use to talk with the database directly. And some has what you call the API based mechanism, some has object based mechanism, etc. But SQL has been kind of a unified format or unified structure for any database. So even if I have a time series database, the format in which data is stored, format in which the how the application retrieves data might be little different, but you have a SQL layer on top of it as well. So any database you have it will have one or the other format of SQL within it, and it has its own language, its own syntax, its own format to it. And all the database has a set of workflows, set of rules, what we call them as procedures. The terminology might be different between databases, but in general, what we call as set of rules, workflows, or procedures. And overall, as I mentioned, next with database management systems of these components. So any database management system, not just with Oracle, have three basic fundamental channels or subdivisions of it. One, the data modeling, how you design it, how you store it. Right? Just like you're constructing your home. Right? First, you design how your home should be. How many rooms you need, how many floors you need, what would be your entrance, what would be your steps, staircases, everything. You first model it, right? Where where you want to have what kind of place, how much place you require it. So all this you're going to have a small model out of it. And then comes the data storage. What you store in that model and how you retrieve the data out of this model, right? So from the compartments, whatever you build, how you store it and how to retrieve it. And how do you make sure the data integrity, like something should be placed at one place, not in the other place. So the data integrity should be maintained. That's what builds the life to your system, right? It does not just the data, but maintaining the integrity, keeping the system very much organized, very much clear and stable is what drives the health of life of the system for you. And data security eventually will be the key factor, right? So you build your home, you have everything very much properly organized, systematically done, but you need a lock for it. Maybe you lock to the whole room, lock to individual rooms again, depending on type of security you want to place it. And you want to have the backup and recovery as well, right? So you want to have make sure if something goes wrong, you need to have a backup plan, a plan B, so that things does not turn bad. So each and every system has its own backup and recovery. That's what we are going to discuss with terms of backup and recovery for it. So I'll explain some of these concepts. Some of these concepts with data security and backup and recovery are from the DBA topics which we generally cover, but I'll give you a glance through of what it covers and how it covers, etc. Okay, it's 9:32, 2 minutes past. Cool. So next components of database management systems, we would cover it in tomorrow's session. Okay, so today I'll pause this session here for today with small intro, what we have, dot clarification, and then starting with database management system, what are the key concepts, basic concepts of database management system. So in tomorrow's session, we would cover about concept of database management, components of database, like how we have different components of database. Within that, we went zoomed into database management system. Within database management system, we'll understand what are the different components of it, what each component works on, why it is required, and everything. And then we would cover about uh, different factors like within this, how the Oracle works out and how the Oracle RDBMS works out, understanding about RDBMS difference in general, getting in deep how RDBMS works out, what are the factors, principles of RDBMS, and how each of these functionalities, right? Modeling, storage, retrieval is handled with Oracle RDBMS. We would discuss how these are handled as well. So we covered basic foundational blocks which are required to any database management system, and we're going to cover with from the Oracle terminology or with specific to SQL, what are those building blocks of the SQLs as well. Okay, I have a question. Will you be helping us install any application to practice write SQL queries? Yes, we would do that. I will day 3 session. What we are going to cover, we would cover the installation of SQL Developer Client for you, and I would cover getting the Oracle Cloud instance as well, so that you can connect the instance anywhere, anytime, wherever you are. So you don't have any dependency on anyone. So I'll show you how to be owner of your own instance, so you can practice it anytime.
Okay, sir.
Cool. So we'll pause in the session here for today and
Yes, sir.
continue tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. IST.
The same link, na, sir? Link same.
The same link, yes, correct.
Okay. Because
Okay.
I'm waiting, we are waiting for 2 or 3 guys as join the class.
Okay. Yeah, I think I joined at 8:26 or so. Yeah, but we typically like 5 minutes before the session, we will be there in the call. So same link. In case you have any doubt, so nothing to worry. Visit the upcoming batches and you can join the Zoom link from here.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you. And I have a question. Are you going to take one small project? Okay, we will not have as a project end of the session, Amarin, but from day one, which is the day for the hands-on activity, I will give you the use case, what we are going to build in the next 20 days or 25 days, the 30 days course, right? What we're going to cover in the 30 days course. So tables, whatever we're going to write, the queries, whatever we are going to write, we would cover from the use case. Okay, I'll take up a small e-commerce use case or a banking application use case. So what are the typical requirements in a banking application, typical requirements in e-commerce application, which most of us are aware in day-to-day life. We will write the queries, we will create the data based on these requirements, so that it's not one step at the end of the course, but we will have small steps every day to handle that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, cool. And I have other question from Rupi to change
Still,
the
I have.
timing. Uh, cool, no worries. Okay. Ruby, I'll ask the team to correct the timing on the upcoming batches. Okay. Thank you for seeing that. Cool. If no other questions or doubts, probably we'll pause the session here for today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. IST. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.